Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me again and welcome to a new dragging video. Without further ado, let's get started. Let's start off here at the Fendi boutique on the Rue Saint Honore in Paris. I had a mixed experience today at Fendi Saint Honore. I can see I'm not the only person who had a problem with the security guard at the entrance. The store was almost empty. However, I was in a hurry to make my purchases was I had a flight to make. She then goes on to explain that the security guard was like really short with her and cut with her, saying that she had to wait outside. When I explained I'd never had this problem in Montaigne, the flagship store in the Avenue Montaigne, he said, well, that's how it works here with us. After 20 minutes of waiting, I took my phone to call someone at Fendi. This is when he changed his attitude and let me in. I find this amazing, especially in such a prestigious house. However, once I was inside, the welcome was up to par. That's why I gave them 2 stars. First of all, I love this person. I love the way that this person is standing on business and not giving like a good review because of the security. I have to say, some of these security guards in some, not all, in some of the French boutiques really need to calm down, because I've had my run-ins with them. I've told you guys many times the experiences I've had with security in a lot of French luxury stores and even just normal like high street shops. Some of them just overdo it and they really want you to know that they control your access to the store. And I always tell you guys, like, don't let them like ruin your day. Because I feel like if you let them get away with it, then they're just going to end up ruining things for you. I think it's a power move that she pulled by saying, okay, I'm going to call someone at Fendi. Because by calling someone at Fendi, she can really like highlight to them that like what they're doing is wrong and it's really annoying. The next one is the Fendi flagship Palazzo in Rome in Italy. This was a very unsettling experience at Fendi Rome. I arrived here with my partner and we were followed throughout the boutique from the ground floor to the first floor. The whole time the SA was a meter behind us throughout. I then decided to confront the SA, asking why she's following us. She said this is part of the experience, being on hand whenever help is needed. However, we did highlight to the lady that we were just looking when first approached. The lady then became very demeaning, highlighting that the experience at luxury fashion brands is different compared to fast fashion brands. Insinuating how we don't shop luxury. Bear in mind, my partner works at the head office of a luxury fashion brand in the UK. This is really disappointing. We've never had poor experience. If your partner really does work at a luxury fashion house, then you know that they're gonna, kind of be around milling around. I think at different boutiques, they operate differently on this issue, because I think some places, if you tell them, oh, I'm just looking, they just kind of leave you alone. I honestly understand that this is someone's job, and I understand that in a luxury fashion setup, it's a different experience, and you are expected to kind of just accept that, which honestly I think is fine. Sometimes I feel like with these dragging reviews, people just lie and make things up. There's no way that your partner works for a luxury fashion house and you don't know that the SA is going to be with you. It's part of that one-to-one service thing that they do, and I don't think it's a security thing, at least when the SA is following you. If it's the security guard, yeah, the security guard's following you because they think you're going to steal. But if it's the SA is just keeping up to date with you because they want to make sure that they can help you. So I don't know about this one. Same location. My husband and I went into the store and were immediately given rude looks and talked to like we were criminals. While everyone else in the store was able to look around and shop, we were asked every 30 seconds if we wanted to buy something by a very annoyed employee that we weren't moving fast enough. She wouldn't even let us walk 5 feet without following us closely. She was reluctant to let us look at anything and tried to rush us out. When we didn't want to buy the first item we saw, the employee just told us to follow her to the exit. I jokingly said, oh, are we being escorted out? I've never experienced such terrible service. I'm literally a doctor and would have gladly bought many items had we not received such bad service, but apparently because I have tattoos, I must be a shoplifter. The employees here need to realize that they're exactly that, retail employees. I think Fendi have beautiful products, so, and trust me, at Big H you'd be dragged even harder, facts. I have to say, I've really been enjoying reading the Italian dragging reviews because they seem more straightforward in Italy. Like, they really want to know if you're buying. It's become to the point where I'm like I'm a broken vinyl record saying, you know, we're going to buy things today, I'm going to buy something today. But I really think just making it clear that you're not there to like waste people's time, or at the very least, I think if you're browsing, just let people know that you're browsing, and then if you need anything, you'll not even necessarily you'll ask for help, but if I need anything, I'll join the queue for people who are waiting to be assisted. I think even that sounds quite nice, because I think it shows that you respect that they have to be paired with someone one to one. But I think in this example, it's clear that the SA didn't think that they were going to buy anything. And this person, even though you're a doctor, you know very well that you basically annoyed the person when you were showed the first thing, you didn't want to buy it. So you're kind of confirming the sort of assumption that the SA had about you, that you were not there to buy anything. And that's why you ended up getting dragged. It is what it is. The next one is the Versace boutique at the Rue Saint Honore in Paris location. This is the worst place I've been to with a bad SA. I went in to buy a bathrobe. No one helped me. I asked the SA called blah 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 the colors they have and if they have the catalog. He was very rude with a sharp voice, saying, "I can't bring you all of them. Tell me 2 to 3 colors and I'll bring them to you." I was like, "I need to see colors to decide." He says, "No, we can't do it at all." I felt so uncomfortable with the first robe he showed me. He didn't even offer water or coffee. He was really rude, and if I'm allowed to say, narcissistic. My partner wants to get another one, but I absolutely didn't advise him to. You know that the problem with this, and I think that this is like one huge problem with like a lot of these dragon reviews, and one of the reasons why I can kind of see where the essays are coming from, just because of my own experience in consumer businesses. A lot of the times with people who want to see a selection, in my experience, not always, but if you show someone a selection of things that they didn't ask for, in my experience, the person doesn't end up buying. That's why the SA is asking them, tell me the colors you want, because they want to make sure that they can make a sale. They don't want to open up all these boxes and show a ton of the bathrobes, and then you don't end up making a purchase like whatsoever. And I think that that is kind of highlighted, I think, in this experience as well, the fact that the SA did not want to bring out all of the colors that were available. Honestly, I understand. Once you have run a retail business, a consumer business, a business where you do a lot of telephone orders, that's what I have right now. One of my businesses, we do heaps of telephone orders. The people who buy almost always never want to see videos or pictures and things like that. They're just like, hey, I want to buy this. Cool. Just deliver it to me or ship it to me. The people who want to see 5,000 colors, 5,000 prints, they never buy. Literally, that has been my experience. So I think that that's what the Versace essay is saying. The next one is the Versace boutique in Rome. This was in Italy. This was a horrible experience. I was literally shooed away from the store by staff, hand motions and all. As a fragrance collector and connoisseur, I was excited to purchase a few perfumes from their Atelier line. This is the Atelier line is the high-end fragrance line, but I'll never shop with Versace again. No purchase is worth feeling degraded into me. Take your money elsewhere. We've said this before. These smaller purchases, perfumes, sunglasses, even maybe like, you know, perfume, sunglasses, scarves, makeup, luxury brands really dislike when you go into flagship stores. And this is the flagship store in Rome in Italy. They dislike when you go into flagship stores to ask to buy these small items. This person didn't know. If this person's a fragrance enthusiast, they might not know the sort of unwritten rules of luxury shopping in the fashion boutiques. They might be very aware of how it is buying something at a fragrance boutique, but maybe at like the Versace standalone store, they're not as like up to it. I think that with those purchases, they're okay with you asking for a perfume after you've bought a jacket, after you've bought a coat, after you've bought a swimsuit, or after you've bought a handbag or a pair of shoes. They might be okay with you being like, hey, can you give me Eros or something like that. But I think if you walk in there like, hey, I want to buy a perfume, they're going to be annoyed. The next one is the Versace boutique in Soho in New York City. The SA who worked with me was great. She made sure everything fit and checked the color and size. Selection store seems limited, but it's best to go in and try the clothes. Everyone looks at you like you don't belong or want nothing to do with you, and you can tell the attitude of the employees towards you varies if you look like you have money or to spend or not. And this is, I think, a very fair review, because the person was basically saying, hey, essay was good, selection's limited, but go in and try. But the mood of the store, and this is why I included it in the dragging review, the mood of the store is everyone looks at you like you don't belong there and they want nothing to do with you. And you can tell the attitude of the employees is based on whether you look like you have money to spend or not. Now, I would say Versace as a brand tends to target more maximalist glamazons. That's not to say if you're a minimalist you wouldn't shop there, but it does appeal more to maximalists. And I think maximalists are the types of people who will always look maximalist. Even a low-key maximalist is still going to be glammed up. They're still going to have glam. They're still going to be wearing colors and prints and stuff. And I think for Versace essays, they're like, okay, that person's probably going to spend a lot of money because they're a maximalist and they've come to the boutique looking like a maximalist. Now, I'm not necessarily saying whether I think it's like right or wrong, but I definitely think that that's like part of why people, they kind of make that judgment whether you're going to spend money or not. I'm not necessarily saying it's right or wrong. I'm just trying to explain why I think it happens. The next one is the Fendi boutique in Rodeo Drive in America. I normally do not do this, but I had a bad experience. I wanted to share my story. The manager was really rude to my family and I asked to use the restroom, the bathroom, and he said no public toilets. And I was shopping. A different client asked, and the employee said it was upstairs. This is really rude. I felt judged. You know, I think that the whole thing about the toilet thing is really strange. The Dior, and that was the Fendi boutique in Rodeo Drive in America. The Dior Avenue Montaigne flagship has toilets. I remember like asking if I could go to the loo, and they were very happy to show you where it is. And that's because the loos in the Avenue Montaigne Dior flagship are stunning. They look like luxury hotel loos. They're very nice and super clean and really, really nice. So I don't really understand when they're like weird about this in luxury shops. I think it's a completely reasonable request. And I think it's a bit over the top to make someone go to the loo before coming to the store. I might just need to go. And it's not like the person didn't buy anything. I think it would be outrageous for you to walk into Fendi and you didn't buy something and ask to use the toilet. Yeah, I'm not okay with that. I am not okay with that. You should go to a department store and use the department store's loos. But the person was buying something, so I think that's unfair. Same place, same location. There was really bad service here, absolutely horrible service. I came here to buy a watch. The lady that was helping me was rude and unprofessional. She was looking at her phone and talking with me and really didn't feel like she was helping. The model of the watch wasn't there. I showed the model I wanted and asked her if I can order it. I asked if she can order it for me, and she said, you can order it. She said, you can order it, and she kept checking her phone. She kept checking her Instagram. LOL, okay, thanks for telling me. They need to train their people. You know, we talked about this before. I think SAs really dislike ordering things for clients. Like, they really do. Here comes a Pegasus unicorn say that their SA orders things for them all the time. Please go away. You're going to get yourself blocked from this channel. We all know very well they really dislike at all brands making orders. And I think it's because essentially you're not buying the inventory that's in the store. So the SA is kind of like creating more problems for the shop because they have to order something for you. I think if you're like a tourist, this is probably just a waste of time. Might as well just order it online. Whereas I think if you actually shop at the boutique, it's not seen as a waste of time because it's like, oh, that person shops with us anyway. They buy our inventory anyway. I'm going to kind of go out of my way to order something for them. So that's why the SA was like, okay, just go and order it online because the person knows that you're a tourist and you're not coming back here. The next one is the Louis Vuitton boutique in Birmingham in the UK. I entered the store with the intention of purchasing a specific fragrance. I was met with absolutely no interaction or acknowledgement, despite being a genuine customer prepared to make a purchase. I was ignored by staff who were actively assisting others. What was made worse was the conduct of the security staff. Rather than offering support or helping, he chose to instead follow me around the store, creating an atmosphere of suspicion and discomfort. As a customer, I should be treated with respect. Before leaving, I spoke directly with the Selfridges manager. She was gracious enough to apologize. I want to also add I'm a loyal client of Louis Vuitton. I've spent a considerable amount of money with the brand. Yeah, I talked about this before. These, the fragrances, the scarves, the sunglasses, and don't get upset. I love buying luxury perfumes and luxury shades like anyone else. So I'm including myself, don't worry. But when they see those purchases, I feel like they're just they just like, they're like, oh, I don't really want to service this person because they're not going to spend a ton of money. They just want to buy one small thing. And I think the fact that she was ignored by staff who were helping other people. Well, I mean, I have to say, if the person is already helping another client, you can't really expect people to like stop, helping someone else to come and help you. If I'm with an SA, I don't want them to leave me to go and help you. You're just going to have to wait because I was here before you. But I'm with her on the security stuff. They do this a lot. I remember, I'll never forget, many years ago now, many years ago, I remember going to Dual Avenue Montaigne. And I remember like going there alone, and Edwin was chilling at the hotel, and I was like, I'm just going to go to the Avenue Montaigne flagship. And I remember being followed around by the security guard. He followed me, and you always know when you're followed is if you go to like a random part of the boutique that doesn't have any people. That's how you know you're being followed. For some of you who are like, oh, I'm paranoid, if you want to prove that the security guard's following you, choose a random part of the store that no one would go to or that has very little people, and see if the security guard's following you. So I was like all over Avenue Montaigne. I was just like looking around. I was having a great time. I was taking pictures. The Dior Avenue Montaigne flagship, I think, is a great place to shop and take photographs. I've never been shouted at for taking a picture or filming a video in there, and I've bought things in there as well. But like, I was like, just literally at that point, he just literally dragged me at this point. And he was just following me, following. And it was obvious that he was following me. So I go upstairs to look at the exotics. And when I went upstairs to look at the exotics, that's when I was like, oh, okay, now I'm being followed. Okay. And the exotic essay was happily showing me things and stuff like that. And then finally I go downstairs and I end up picking up a notebook, and I think I got sunglasses as well. And then when he saw me with the essay is when he goes away. That's when he realized, okay, I should probably stop following her because the person's buying something. But even though, like I said, the Avenue Montaigne, you're just looking around. And I would say the Avenue Montaigne Dior is like the exception to the browsing thing that I always tell you guys about, just because you are not like, I have never found like an essay like following me around the store. That's never happened to me. But with the security, it has. And it's a very unpleasant experience. It's not a nice experience. It makes you feel really like, okay, wow, you really think I'm going to steal. And I know that he looked stupid and felt stupid, because I remember like taking the sunglasses and the notebook, and the essay is like, okay, great, well, let's go to the cash payment place. And she's like, let me wrap it beautifully. She was, chatting. She seemed friendly, cheerful, smiling, even though I wasn't spending a lot of money. She was perfectly nice to me. And then I remember just kind of, because I'm a troll, honey, so I can't help myself, because I knew he was following me the whole time. And I remember being like that. And then that's when he kind of looked at me like, okay, fine, and then left. Like, now I know you're stupid now. Like, I know you feel stupid. Okay, don't worry. I'm not gonna grass you up, but get it together. And I feel her on this, because it's not a nice feeling when the security makes you feel like that. It's not nice at all. And I'm sure that she didn't feel good about herself, like the security following her around. It's like, the essay to follow you is fine, but the security following you is completely unnecessary, particularly when there's so much technology with cameras and stuff. It's just not necessary for them to follow you. The next one is the Hermes boutique in Greenwich in America. I had a horrible experience at this store with one SA. She treated me like I didn't have money, like I couldn't afford to buy something. And when I asked about a particular product, the SA told me in a very surprised way that the item was $5,000. I didn't ask her the price. I asked her if she had it in the store. Her answer was, quote, yes, that's $5,000. The way she said it was like, I couldn't afford it. I bought what they had available and left. This was really unprofessional, and the client before me, this SA brought her until the door when she was leaving, and with me, she just took the payment and asked if I was interested in receiving news about bags and other products. I said no, thank you. I paid my purchase, and she didn't even stand up from the chair at the cashier. It looks like this SA just treats people who she knows professionally and will spend thousands with her. I think that one of the things about, I think, Big H as well is like there are just so many people coming in to spend money. 5,000 is a good chunk of change, but a Big H is just a rounding error at this point. And that's not to say that your money isn't worth anything, but I do think that there are those SAs at luxury brands who pick and choose who they want to be nice to. This isn't a pleasant experience for sure. The next one is the Hermes location in Troy, in Michigan, in America. My parents and I recently stopped at the Hermes boutique at the Somerset collection, and I have to say we're really disappointed. From the moment we stepped inside, not a single SA greeted us. We browsed quietly, fully prepared to make a purchase, but were completely ignored when other shoppers arrived after us were helped and greeted. It became very clear that the staff here are selective about which customers they pay attention to. This kind of snobbish and exclusionary attitude has no place in any store, let alone a luxury boutique. I'm willing to bet money that they knew those people who came in. That's why they were like really friendly to them. I have found that Hermes boutiques are like that. You can always tell in an Hermes store if they know the clientele, because they're like super like friendly and warm and kind if you're like a regular customer, and assuming that you spend good money at the brand. But if it's like someone who isn't like a regular customer, they kind of give you space. I think that they're caught between a rock and a hard place. A lot of people want to be left alone with their browsing and don't want people following them. Other people feel ignored and weren't greeted and want to be treated specially and want the red carpet rolled out for them and want to be treated like they're the queen and king and queen of the world. It's a hard needle to thread, because I feel like I can kind of see where the brand's going, but I can see where she's coming. Me personally, I wouldn't let this get me down. If I want to buy something, I would just ask someone, hey, can you help me? I would like to pick up a few items. I think it's as simple as that. I think if you walk in, say, I think that the problem here is they probably did what a lot of people do, which is they walk into a store and say, oh, I'm just looking, even though they want to buy something. I think if you want to buy something, you need to say, I want to buy something today. Can you show me a bunch of items? That way you're not going to be ignored. But I think if you say you're just browsing, then yeah, people are just going to leave you alone to browse. So, you know. The next one is the Hermes boutique in Chicago. I walked in America. I walked in to try to ask for a mini non-coat bag. I understand there's an unwritten rule about Hermes. Customers who have a long-term SA buy stuff before getting a bag. I'm not happy. When I asked about a bag, the SA told me they only had one this year. Apparently a lie. Well, you answered your own question, girl. You know very well that you need to have a purchase history before they offer you anything at this brand, honey. So it is what it is. The final one is the Cartier boutique in Stockholm in Sweden. I visited the boutique today with a specific model with a panther ring. I was greeted by the SA. I voiced my wish, but she seemed uninterested in helping. I wanted to try the ring on different fingers. She offered it to me in yellow gold, in a size that was too big or too small. I proceeded to browse the store and I decided to come back to the ring to try it on the other finger. And by a miracle, it appeared that there was the exact ring that I wanted in my size. Why wasn't I offered it from the beginning? I proceeded to check out with the ring. I have a restriction from my bank on payments abroad. I told the SA about it, and instead of telling me my options, I had to pry the information out of her. Unfortunately, I was not able to pay in that moment, but I honestly don't want to come back again. I will buy this ring elsewhere. Well, be a desired customer. I don't know, girl. At first, when I was reading this dragging review, I was on the customer side, because I was like, that reminded me of the experience in the Shams store, where they're very hesitant. They don't want to bring out a ton of stock to show you. They want you to focus on maybe 1, 2, 3 lines maximum that you're interested in. And the SA would prefer to just go and fetch items that you request as and when, versus bring you out an assortment. I think it's because if you're a tourist and they don't know you, they don't know if you're going to buy today, so they don't want to do too much legwork. But I feel like where the person lost me in this dragging experience is the fact that the person... The person had a banking restriction, knew that you had a banking restriction, but you didn't get your cards unblocked. Why would you do that when you know you have to pay by card if you're an international shopper? Okay, most places internationally, they're going to need you to pay by card. I don't know what happens if it's like a 6-figure high jewelry purchase. Maybe they'd accept an invoice. I don't know. I doubt it. I'm pretty sure it's probably still a card payment. The person lost me when they said that, and maybe the SA felt that you had no intention of buying anyway, and kind of literally pulled your card instead, and kind of made you feel like, okay, cool, like, you know, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. The person lost me on that one, honey, because I'm like, girl, your cards didn't work, and you didn't get your card unblocked. So how are you going to pay for it if you can't use your card, and you knew that your card wasn't going to work abroad? You lost me, gal. You probably were just browsing and had no intention of buying and wanted to try on 10 million sizes, and the SA was like, no, gal. You know what I mean? Let me know what you think about the dragging videos today. And if you like it here, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and stick around because I have lots of dragging review videos. I featured Versace for the first time, I think, in years at this point. I love Versace, as you all know. If you support me, if you're new to my channel, Versace is one of my favorite houses. It's going through a metamorphosis. There's a completely new direction for the house. I was on the website today. I posted it in the Facebook group, some of the new looks. So it was nice to feature the Versace dragging stories. People are getting dragged, honey, in these boutiques. Let me tell you. So today we did Versace, we did Fendi, we did Louis Vuitton, we did Hermes. It's a dragging, yeah, it's a congregation of people getting dragged, essentially. So let me know what you think about it, and subscribe, and also sign up to the newsletter. Okay, now I wanted to quickly just touch on something which I thought was super interesting. I was on TikTok, just, looking around, watching people's videos. I saw a really interesting video that just came up on the For You page. I don't remember the name of the content creator, but basically it was talking about like, how much do people need to be spending in luxury appointments and stuff like that. It was so interesting. It was basically saying, how much should people be spending at brands? Now, obviously, this is completely dependent on obviously it's completely dependent on like your your budget and things like that, and that's not really the point that the person was making. The person was basically saying, when you like make an appointment at a brand, how much do you look to spend? I think that there's certain brands who have very high thresholds for what they think you should spend at a brand in an appointment. And I think that social media has made brands really hesitant to be warmer and friendlier to people, because I think that there is this feeling that a lot of people just come into boutiques to film for social media. One of the reasons why I think a lot of people in these dragging reviews say that the essay was cold and unfriendly and didn't really want to talk to them, I think a lot of the times is because they do get a lot of traffic of people who have zero intention of buying, which is fine. Maybe you're just looking and you're not going to buy today, but maybe you're going to buy another day. But I have to tell you, as a businesswoman, the smarter business decision is to prioritize the people who make the faster payment. So if someone's going to buy today over someone who's going to buy in 3 days or in 3 months, it makes more sense to prioritize the person who can spend more money. And I think that they must see something spend more money faster. So I think that they must see something in their statistics that shows that the people who make appointments spend more money than the people who walk in. Now, of course, there are outliers. There are people who walk into a store and can spend $50,000, £50,000, €50,000 in one sitting. That does happen, and it happens often, but it might not happen as often as the person who makes the appointment. So maybe they think that if you make an appointment, you're more inclined to spend more money, and they know that you're going to buy something. So I think that there is this understanding and expectation that if you make an appointment, you will be spending a few £1,000s, a few $1,000s, a few €1,000 buying items, versus someone who's a walk-in client. I feel like the appointment is like not a promise to spend, but it kind of acts like a promise to spend. So it's just really interesting seeing people discuss this on TikTok, because I do think that there is an expectation if you make an appointment that you're going to spend a good chunk of money. And I have definitely learned from mistakes I've made in the past. So on my next trip, I'll definitely make sure that if I make an appointment, I have every intention of spending a few €1,000 versus making an appointment and only buying one small thing, which I've done in the past. But now I want to kind of take my luxury shopping profile, to the next level. So definitely, if I make an appointment at any brand, I'll expect to spend a few €1,000, because I feel like that's kind of where brands want you to be, and in terms of having that really nice shopping experience, versus like going to like an appointment at a brand and then you don't buy anything, or you buy like really, really small things, because I feel like they just don't like that. So let me know what you think about that as well. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. God bless you all. I'll see you in my next video. I'm out.